Hi, my Leo friends. Thank you for joining me for the November 2024 astrology forecast for Leo rising. It can work also for a Leo sun sign, but it does work better for a Leo rising sign. Um, this month is pretty interesting. It starts out pretty pretty big with a Scorpio new moon, and the ruler of Scorpio, Pluto, will be opposing Mars on the same day, on the 1st. This can be felt as a pretty difficult aspect. You might feel a lot of anger, might feel a lot of frustration. There might be fights and arguments. Um, so it's important at this time to be careful what you say and what you start, because it can get blown way out of proportion, even if it's something very simple and minor. Um, it can just really get blown out of proportion. So be very careful what you say. What can help with this is Mercury is going to be trine to Mars and sextile to Pluto. So that can make it so communication can help um, somewhat with that. And paying attention to how you're thinking, what you're thinking about, and that kind of stuff can really help you with this energy. But keep in mind anything having to do with Pluto and Scorpio, and Mercury is in Scorpio, by the way, so it's a lot of Pluto and Scorpio energy. It really is about transformation, and so it's important at this time to really pay attention to what you should be transforming in your life, and what transformation you need, what you have to let go of so that you can start the transformation, because nothing's going to change unless if everything stays the same. So we have to change something, and we can start by letting go of something that doesn't serve us anymore and isn't working for us. Um, and this is especially in the area of family and home, real estate, and our roots and our ancestry. Um, yeah. And then also on November 1st, we have a Jupiter sextile Chiron. And so that can help us to heal our wounds, especially if we're willing to help other people that have our same insecurities or wounds. Um, and that's the best way to heal your own wounds. And so initiating something to help you with that is going to really hopefully bring in the healing. Then Mercury goes into Sagittarius on November 2nd. So communication with children or people that we are in love relationships with can really benefit us now. And then Venus in Sagittarius will trine Chiron on November 5th. And at the same time, Venus will oppose Jupiter in Gemini. Now, this is going to probably be one of the best days of the month. It's going to help us to feel really hopeful and joyful, and to really bring a lot of positivity around love relationships and, maybe even work and career. It can really help at this time. Then on the 9th, Venus will square Neptune, and that can bring in sort of an unclear or fuzziness around love relationships, children, or entrepreneurial endeavors. So just be aware that there are things that we might not be able to see on that day or around that day. So just be a little cautious there. And then Venus will go into Capricorn on November 11th. And this could bring some positivity around relationships. Um, it can also you know, bring benefits to your daily routine, your health, and your work. Can bring a lot of positivity or just pleasurable interactions there. Then Mercury will square Saturn on November 12th. And that can kind of bring blockages around communication or fun and leisure too. It can kind of slow things down in that area. So on November 12th, so just be aware of that. And on November 14th, Venus will square the North Node in Aries, and Mars will trine the North Node also. So a Venus square is not the most positive aspect, but it can help us too. When we have challenges that we have to figure out, it can help us move forward and go in the direction that we should be going in this life, the one that's going to be the most beneficial to us and the most helpful for us. It can be difficult to follow our North Node or to go in that direction, but it is our fated path in life, and it really can bring fated changes if we are willing to go into the unknown a little bit and, take that step into something we haven't done before. But having Mars trine the North Node can really help us to be brave and to be motivated to take that step. Then on the 15th, we have a full moon in Taurus, and Taurus full moons usually are pretty grounding and stabilizing, but because this one it happens to be conjunct Uranus, that can bring unexpected things, just surprises and things we did not expect, kind of turn things around in a direction that we didn't expect, especially when it comes to career or your public image for Leo rising. And then on the 18th, the sun will square Neptune, and that can shine a light on things we couldn't see before, especially when it comes to home and family and real estate and your roots. And then on the 18th, also, Mercury will trine Chiron, and that can help us to heal wounds or insecurities through communication. November 19th, Pluto will go back into Aquarius. Now, Pluto's been going back and forth between Aquarius and Capricorn for quite some time. So we've felt what it feels like we've seen what it feels like to have Pluto in Aquarius. And we've had Pluto in Capricorn for the last like 14 years. So this is kind of our last chance to bring transformation and let go of things that aren't working for us in that area of Capricorn. And so after this, and this is like a generational energy, because Pluto does take so long to go around the horoscope. It takes almost 250 years. And so we won't see Pluto in Capricorn again in our lifetime after it goes into Aquarius this time. And it will be in Aquarius for the next 20 years. Also on November 19th, the sun will trine Mars, and that can bring a focus on what we need to do in our home because Mars is in Cancer. It can help us to see better things that, maybe we didn't know were happening in the home or with our family. And for Leo rising, Mars is in your 12th house. So it can, shine a light on things that are hidden or things that we don't have control of, like hospitals and jails and and our subconscious. Then on November 21st, the sun is going to sextile Pluto. And again, we're going to be shining a light on Plutonian things, which is, hidden things and maybe taboo things, so that we don't always want to look at. And since this is in your sixth house, it could have to do with health, pets, and your daily routines. Then Venus will sextile Saturn. Um, Now, uh, if we do a little extra work, or if we, focus on it a little bit, we can bring some kind of structure to relationships, health, work, and daily routines again. And then Mercury will go retrograde in Sagittarius on November 25th, and it will be retrograding until December 15th. But it is going to be in pre-shadow on November 9th, starting on November 9th, because where it's at on November 9th is where it's going to retrograde back to by the December 15th, before it goes direct. So we will, basically Mercury will be going back over the place where it is on November 25th or November 9th to the November 25th. We'll go back over that like 3 times. So you will have a chance to redo things that you started or initiated. Now, especially things that have to do with children, love relationships, and your entrepreneurial endeavors. So, I mean, Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius is not usually as difficult, and especially for you being in your 5th house, being Sagittarius, being in your 5th house. So, just remember that what you're starting after the 9th, you may have to redo, especially in this area. But that's not a problem. Sometimes we have to redo things to get it right, to make it as good as it can be, or make it as good as we can. But that's all I have for November. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. And please go to my website at logicalastrology.com, and you can book readings with me there to get a more personalized astrology reading, because some of these aspects may not affect you if they're not touching anything in your birth chart, or aspecting anything in your birth chart. So some of them you might feel and some of them you might not. But if I look at your birth chart specifically, we can definitely get a lot more specific and go into a lot more detail, about how this month is going to affect you. So everybody have a great month, and I'll see you next month.